Pathfinder, the thing that is way better in D&D in every way. You, sir, are clearly a man of wisdom and knowledge. Pathfinder is much better than D&D. D&D sucks. Pathfinder is very similar to D&D in the way that it's a role-playing game, tabletop role-playing game, or TTRPG for short, and it has the same dice. We're going to discuss dice first. There are 5 dice. The D20, which is the main dice that you're going to be using for skill checks and other things, like saving throws, dodging stuff, hitting stuff, your general stuff. And then the most recognizable dice of all time, the D6, is going to be used to calculate health, damage, a little bit more nitty-gritty things. There's the percentile dice, which consists of two 10-sided dice. They combine to make a 100-sided dice, because you just put the numbers together. One has like 10, 20, 30, you get it, and then the other one just has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you put the also has a 0 on it, but you put that on there at the end to create a number. So how that would the percentile dice is not really used for that much. It can be used for chance and randomized stuff. D8 also mainly used for health and calculating damage. D10 can also be used for that. D12 same thing. D4 same thing, but it's the weakest one. And how Pathfinder works, all the dice have tiers, as it goes D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and that it maxes out there. They don't use the D20 for the tiers, because D20 is never used for calculating damage or health, except for monsters, but we'll get to that later. There's 16 core classes available in Pathfinder that you can choose to play. Here's the Wikipedia article that is honestly bullcrap, because you can reflavor the classes to any way you want, and you can multi-class. But multi-classing is pretty interesting, and it's very simple. Multi-classing is one of the easiest things in this game, and I'll get to that later. Number 1 is the alchemist. You make alchemy stuff, and you can make bombs and elixirs and stuff, potions. Barbarian, you just hit stuff and you got big health bar. Barbarian's really fun in this game. Bard, you're a performer and you're a spellcaster. This is different in D&D, but in this one it actually has music as its main thing. Music is never actually specified in D&D, but music is here. Champion. Champion's just a paladin that kind of sucks. Champion sucks, sadly, because paladin's my favorite class in D&D. Cleric. Cleric is a servant of a deity. I've actually made a video on the cleric before. I don't like clerics, well, at least in D&D. I don't really like playing clerics because they just divine, and they're holy, and they have healing and stuff. In D&D, they're just the most powerful thing ever to exist. Druid, they can turn into animals, and they've got nature spells. I'm kind of interested in Druid. I do want to play Druid sometime, but meh. Fighter, this is the most basic of things you can have, and fighter is best to be multi-class with stuff, because they're so very basic, but they can be easily expanded upon. They're supposed to be expanded upon. You're supposed to make it your own. Monk, you just punch stuff. Oracle, who cares? Okay, just kidding. Yeah, Oracle is just a really weird class that uses divine energy, but it has unique power and stuff. But it's weird. It's lame. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's kind of interesting. A ranger, you're a hunter and a tracker, and you're excels in range combat and surviving in the wilderness. You could be Legolas if you want to. Ranger is a lot better in here than it is D&D. Rogue is just the emo, stealth, and deception. Very emo, particularly on the emo. Sorcerer is just like a spellcaster, and they've got some cool magic abilities. Summoner, they summon things. Swashbuckler is just a pirate. A witch is basically a wizard. I really like the witch subclass as a wizard, but you have a pet, and the pet has incredible powers, and it's awesome. Play witch. Witch is amazing. And there's the wizard. Wizard is self-explanatory. You cast spells. Two are actually missing from this list, which is strange. Which is the gunslinger, which is the gunslinger is awesome, and the I forgot what he's called. It's just like the artificer from D&D. He makes stuff, and you can literally, one of his abilities is just explode item, and you can just like chuck any of your machines out and just have them blow up. It's awesome. Great class. Love that one. So that would actually be 18 classes, interestingly enough. Stats. Okay, so how stats work, if you are proficient, there are different levels of proficiency in stats for Pathfinder. And I'm not making a how to make a character, I'm making just how to play. I can make a how to make a character later, if you want that. So stats, they've got different levels of stats, and if you are proficient at all, you get to add your level to the modifier of the stats. You get to achieve crazy things like plus 26s, plus 16s, especially if your character is like specialized in that stat, and like that's what like their main thing is. You can get like plus 16 by level 5. It's crazy. It's crazy. Monsters have stats, you got stats, and different things attack different stats. So like a certain spell might be a Constitution saving throw where they have to roll and they got to add their Constitution or something, or like athletics or something. So if you see like an ogre, a big meaty ogre with a lot of Constitution and health, probably shouldn't throw a spell at him that just has him roll stealth, because if he roll Constitution, because if he rolls high, which he most likely will because of how stats work, he'll just easily do that. And there's 4 levels of success. There's critical success, regular success, fail, and critical fail. A critical success is 10 more than what was originally required to get a regular success. A regular success is meeting the requirement or going slightly higher. A critical fail is going 10 under the requirement, and a fail is just going a little under the requirement. Monsters. The Pathfinder has some insane monsters. They've got very good designs, and they're pretty well balanced. And they get very creative, like my favorite monster, Beomal, which is a 2-headed giant dragon turtle, and it's creppin' awesome. If I can find, I might edit a picture of it on screen right now, but I suck at editing, so it's probably not on there. So I wouldn't even recommend checking. Next up is combat. Basics of combat. Pathfinder is a 3-action based game. So you got 3 actions, and everything takes actions. Moving takes an action, attacking takes an action. Raising your shield to gain the benefits of having a shield takes an action. Taking cover takes an action. Helping someone else takes an action. It's all about having these 3 actions and the strategy of it. The thing is, so you can attack on like your first action, and you can attack for every single action. But the thing is, every single attack after your first attack has a big penalty to the damage. Like your first attack, you're going to do whatever you roll for your damage, plus your modifiers. The next one, you're going to have to -5 to your damage. And the next one after that is going to be a -10. So it's best to only attack once or twice, and then maybe move for your third action, or take cover, raise your shield or something. Give yourself a little more defensive capability instead of giving yourself like 3 more damage, instead of doing 3 more damage to the opponent, which may inevitably give you like 10 more damage to you on the monster's turn. Role-playing. Role-playing is one of the most important things. You're not playing yourself, you're playing a character, which very much just might be yourself. If you're new, I'd recommend just probably playing a glorified version of yourself, because that's very easy to do, very easy to role-play. You're going to have to like do voice acting. Or you could just say my character says whatever, and we can all just imagine in our heads that like it's in your character's voice. I do prefer when people actually use the voices of their characters in the voice act. It makes things a bit more interesting. It makes things a bit more interesting and more realistic. And role-playing, you're going to be interacting with a lot of characters in game, a lot of NPCs, and you're going to be interacting with the other characters and forming bonds and story. This is as the players, you're just as important to the DM as the DM is to the story. More important, depending on the on the DM, as you can look back on my how to DM video, or GM in this case, because this is Pathfinder, and Pathfinder's cool. Yeah. Communication is a very big thing in Pathfinder and all TTRPGs. If you want or need something, like say something's bothering you, or you want something changed, or heck, you just need like a new homebrew, you want to add a homebrew to your character, you want to ask if you can change your character, you want to ask if you can do something, communicate. Communicate. If you don't communicate, things are going to go bad. So you need to communicate. You need to have good communication with your DM and your fellow players. And that'll wrap it up for this. This is all like the basic stuff that you need to know for Pathfinder, and it will be very and you'll learn like the more nitty-gritty rules as you go along. I recommend making a character just on your own on paper. That will like really teach you the nitty-gritty rules. Granted, it will be super painful and take like 6 hours, but you'll learn. And that'll be all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.